So I'm out here at Peace Chapel, kind of meadow area. It is September 15th, and I'm gonna look at some of these trees that are out in the meadow, namely the black walnuts, which are literally everywhere, and then we also have black cherries, which are also everywhere, and then there's a bunch of non-native / invasive species as well that I'm probably gonna skip over, like autumn olive and privet, but they're here too, just not of interest. So here we have a black walnut. It's probably one of the easier trees for me personally to identify. First, the leaves are very iconic to me, so they're like just, I don't know what to call them exactly, but they're like alternately spaced out. The only tree I have trouble discerning between, if I just look at the leaves, are Tree of Heaven. But what helps with the black walnut is the bark between the black walnut and the Tree of Heaven is quite different. So the black walnut, it's kind of got a darker coloration to it, but also it's just way more furrowed and got these deep ridges that you will not see in a Tree of Heaven. But also in September and October we have actual walnuts, which is like duh. If you can't figure anything else out that this is a black walnut, you can just look at the ground, or just, look at the tree and you'll see the walnuts. And it's not, Tree of Heaven's not going to have walnuts on it. If you are a runner, whoever was in cross country, you know that they love planting them on cross country routes, which is just amazing for your ankles when you trip over them, because cross country season also happens to be in the fall. So there's a ton of black walnuts out here in the meadow, a lot less so in the actual wooded areas. They tend to enjoy, if you're going to see them in kind of a non-mixed setting, then they're going to be kind of more of a forest edge / open area. And then this is the other tree that I see a lot in this meadow. Pretty much just black walnut, and then this tree, which is, I believe, black cherry. Although I don't really see any cherries on it, so I'm not entirely sure. So I'm not having a hard time looking because the sun is unfortunately setting and it's right in my eyeball. But the leaves are kind of a little bit more inconspicuous with the black cherry. They're also falling off. Like one of these black cherries doesn't even have any leaves left, but they are usually like a yellow to orangish in the fall when they're starting to fall off, which we're seeing with like some of these, like that one. Some black cherries have like 2 glands at the base of their petioles. But I'm not really seeing them. I don't know if it's because like they're kind of falling off and so they're kind of not really there anymore, but I don't really see any more of these. The other species I was like, when I was originally walking around, that I was like not sure if this was or was not, was the yellow birch, but definitely once you see the bark, it's kind of another iconic bark. In terms of just having like this kind of plated, scaly, like texture to it, structure to it, I don't know what you want to call it. It also prefers full sun, so like it makes sense that it's out here. I'm trying to find, like, I think right here you can see they have like these horizontal lenticels. I'm not really sure how to call them. Lenticels, which is another way. A lot of trees have them, so I wouldn't say, oh, it has horizontal lenticels. It's definitely a black cherry. But if you have the horizontal lenticels, you kind of have like this dark gray bark, and then it's kind of plated like this. It's probably a black cherry. So I walked a little bit farther and you can see there's a black walnut. There, actually, I don't know if it's a black walnut or a locust. But anyway, there's a black walnut. There's another cherry, black cherry. Another cherry, another black walnut. Oh, you can't really see. Okay, that's a cherry, that's a black walnut. They're just kind of everywhere. Let me get closer to this one. That one might be a locust. I definitely think it's a locust tree. I'm trying to remember the difference between black locust and a honey locust. I think it's a honey locust because it's got little tiny leaflets and the petals are really tiny. And I believe that makes it a honey locust compared to a black locust that will have much larger leaf. Over on the other side of the meadow, there's a conifer here. A couple of them, actually. You can see all the little pine cones. So it's definitely a pine tree. And I think it is a Virginia pine tree. And the reason, well, firstly, the needles are in bunches of 2. And they're twisty, and they're kind of small. Sounds like something's breaking over there. And then, I don't know about pine cones though, so I don't know if it's a Virginia pine or what, but I know tabletop mountain pines also got bundles of 2, but I'm not really in like on a mountain. So yeah, I'm not in Appalachian or on a mountain really. So I think this is a Virginia pine. They also like being out in the full sun, and apparently does well on, like, it's been seen to do well on like strip mined sites or just disturbed sites in general. And this is, I don't know, maybe this is a post-disturbed site, I don't know, but it's doing well out here. The bark as well, can't really see it on this tree because it's so low to the ground, but it's normally kind of orangish brown, kind of scaly, at least in the younger trees. That kind of looks orange to me. So I'd say this is not pitch pine, a Virginia pine. So this is the last plant I wanted to look at. Last time I was here, I was like, what the heck is this? But it turns out it is, let me look. It is called a spread cotton Easter, which is apparently not native, used kind of more as a decorative plant. Don't know how the heck it got out here. It's got like this very obvious red. Okay, please focus on the actual fruit on the hand. Red fruit on it, and then these glossy, small little leaves, as you can see compared to my finger. Very small. Yeah. Strange. And right next to another non-native, and this is a certified invasive. Okay, my phone sucks at video graphics, but it is obviously the one and only autumn olive, because it's got the autumn olives on it. Also, it's like got a very pale underside to a green leaf. Another way I can tell. And it's all over this meadow. Well, that's gonna do it for my first ever ID video. I'm gonna try out some other places. Also gonna actually go inside the woods at some point, but just out in the meadow. Those are some trees, species that I see a lot of, and that I've come to be able to identify thanks to being able to see them so often.